It's not often that rugby league superstar Keiron Cunningham heads to the dugout, but this hole in the ground is somewhere you'll want to spend time. This new underground rifle range is the brainchild of top stalker Mike Dickinson. We'll tell you more about the subterranean structure later. For the moment, it's the perfect place for Keiron to zero his rifle with his new Zeiss FL sight before we head out after red hinds.
You're fairly confident it's a zero, are you?
Yeah, I did set the rifle before I came up. Okay.
So, bottom right is a blank target. Go for the centre.
Centre of the blank target. Okay.
That's bang on. That'll do for us.
He's totally on the money.
Just going to see if we can find a deer.
Yes. Let's hope luck's on our side, eh?
Just before first light, we drive to farmland on the Cheshire-Staffordshire border.
The wind is coming up the valley, so that'll be perfect for us stalking into the wind.
It's just 24 hours before the end of the hind season, and Mike has already warned us that we're going to have to be quiet and patient as the deer here are twitchy.
This wood here,
Okay.
or another gang of hollies and that wood down there. Say they're so crafty. If we stalk through here, we're going to be close.
Right.
So your shot might only be like 20 yards.
Right, okay.
We head off down the valley. Mike hears deer close by, but they move and in turn spook others that had settled further along the track, which we eventually follow along the edge of the valley.
This is where the deer have been laid. You can see signs there where they've been laid down. We've just spooked them coming through the trees.
We're going to have to work for our quarry this morning. But wait a minute. Here we are following Keiron Cunningham. He's a famous sports star creeping through undergrowth stalking deer. And he's loud and proud about it.
I'm not going to be embarrassed about the passion and the love that, you know, that millions of people in this country do. And why should we hide away from it? It's something we love doing, and, you know, we don't do any harm. We do good for the countryside. We put a lot back into the countryside, a lot more than other people do. So, you know, I'm flying the flag for a lot of people, and, you know, I'm proud of it. I grew up with nature, with my surroundings, you know. I brought up on a council estate, actually, and that was my, like, get away from the rough and tumble of it. And, you know, we used to go out with snaring the rabbits and, you know, go out with the running dogs, and I was from about 6, 7 years old. And I got my first air gun and was out shooting things, and, you know, and everything was for the table. It was, you know, it's what we eaten, and it was good to do, and sort of fueled the fire, the hunger for it. And ever since then, you know, it's just got bigger and bigger. And, you know, I got my own place when I was about 18, and got some shotguns, and, you know, went on, and I've just progressed, and, you know, every facet of the sport now I love, and, you know, I'd love to participate in it. You know, I just don't have enough time on my hands with rugby and families and stuff like that. You know, I think you need to be a bit of a nomad and living in the hills somewhere to do what you want to do, but, you know, I love everything.
We are now nearly 2 hours into our stalk, and Mike leads us to the bottom of the valley. He's using what the land has to offer to aid our progress.
We'll use the noise of the water under the brook to cover any of our footprints and steps when we snap into it. It might help masking from the deer.
Finally, we spot about a dozen deer through the trees. Keiron gets himself comfortable. But it's incredibly tense. There are plenty of branches between us and them, and the grazing deer don't stay still enough for Keiron to be confident to get a clean shot. Eventually, he sees his chance. It's a great shot and he is a happy man.
Yeah, 10 times better than scoring at Wembley, definitely, definitely. Like you said, they just blend in so well, and you know, I just didn't know which one to take, and I didn't want to.
When I was looking through and glassing, what I look for is an eye blinking or an ear twitching.
Right.
And I just caught two ears, I just caught an ear move.
Right.
I'll give it away.
And there was like 50 of them, somewhere in the end. They were just coming from everywhere, and
There was actually about 9 of them.
yeah, I wanted to take the right shot, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hit a branch and injure it, or you know.
It was waiting till one come clear, but we'd got the drop. They hadn't twigged us.
Yeah.
The difficult bit's going to be getting up that bank to get to it.
Oh, I don't even think it'll touch me. That the adrenaline's going that much. I feel like I'm going out to play a game of rugby now. I'm like, oh. You know, it's the first time I've ever shot a red. I'm a raw stalker, and I'm just like, oh my god. You know, we're going to need a truck to get these things out, and well, everything Mike said was right. You know, we came down, we did it right, and he was showing us all the signs where we was going and where the deer had gone, what we'd spooked, and he hit it on the head. He said they'd be in this bit of a ball, and you know, lo and behold, they're up there, camouflaged, and you know, I'm in awe of it. It's just amazing. You know, I was hoping that I could get a shot. I mean, it wasn't. Some of them, there was branches in the way, and you know, I had to wait to one to come in there into the right area to shoot for a clean kill, because I didn't want to injure the animal or anything, and I was just praying that they wasn't going to bugger off in the meantime, you know.
It was a good bullet strike. You could hear the run thump.
I've played at Wembley in front of 96,000 people, you know, and people ask me how does it feel to do that, and you know, all I can say is it's like your birthdays and Christmases, and you've just found a £50 note on the floor, all rolled into one. Now this is the same feeling. This is what I get. I get away from rugby, I get away from everything, and this is what I love doing. You know, and it's the same buzz, the same build-up, the same adrenaline. You know, and then the relief more than anything. You've actually, you know, you've took an animal and it's shot right. And it's just a matter of relief and enjoyment and doing what I love doing.
And good kit. I
always surround myself with the best, and I've done that all my life. And you know, Zeiss is the best scope on the market, without a doubt. And I wouldn't use anything else.
Happy boy.
Oh, very happy, very happy. I just can't wait to go and see the thing now.
We make our way over. Although Keiron has plenty of deer stalking experience, he's used to roe deer, not lowland reds, and they grow 'em big round here.
Hands will be in car, so if we take a car from last year, that's about the best. So, if you're going to ever do a test or where we are?
No wonder Keiron is at the top of his game. His attitude is all about doing things properly, and he's keen to learn. Without hesitation, he's rolling up his sleeves, ready to get stuck in and gralloch the young hind under Mike's supervision. So, is he pleased with how the morning has gone?
These deer are so nervous at the moment. They're just so on edge. So yeah, we had a good wind in our face, which helped. And knowing the ground, so I knew roughly where the deer might be. Bumped them first time, you see where they've been laid, and then stalked into where I thought the next area where they would be laid. And occasionally things do go to plan. So yeah, good morning.
As fantastic as these animals are, they are large. But could there be any better training for a rugby player than heaving a carcass uphill and down dale for 3/4 of a mile?
If the boss is watching, this is what I do in my spare time.
Never a dull moment.
Back at the cars, Keiron's brother-in-law is chuffed to bits at the result. Keiron and Keith often go out shooting together. Keith spent his morning on a high seat with no sign of deer. It's been a cracking morning for Keiron, and it's back to Mike's amazing setup to clean the deer and to meet some journalists from the shooting mags who have come to meet Keiron and to hear about the new Zeiss scopes.
Each and every rifle and the scope that's here. Rupert from Open Season, because we have such a good business relationship, has kindly brought the new R8 along, so you also can get the...
But before we stick the ear defenders on, and believe me, you've never needed them more, what did our new rugby champion and Fieldsports ambassador think of his first red hind stalking experience?
I had these animals in my scope and the crosshair in the kill zone, and it was like, but I couldn't take the shot because there was I was shooting through branches and twigs, and you know, a little deflection, you could injure an animal. It just, you know, I'd rather not take the shot than do something like that. I was determined I was going to take the shot, but luckily they hadn't seen us. We was downwind of him, and everything was right for us. So patience was there, and you know, my finger was like this, like, come on, pull it, let's go. But you know, I was patient, and I got the shot in the end, and an animal presented itself in the right position, and you know, it was a good clean kill, and I was happy about that.
Thank goodness you're fit, considering what we had to do towards the end, what you had to do, I did for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I thought I was a really fit bloke, and you know, when he said that, I was like thinking, oh, I'll throw that over my back. I'll be, you know, I carry bigger blokes in that round every week, and you know, we started off, and I was like, right, where are we going with this, Mike? And it's like just a little, you know, and he wouldn't tell me where we was going. It was like, oh, we go to this fence and this fence, and I think we worked out it was close on a kilometre that we dragged this beast, you know, and it worked out. It was, you know, cleaned in and everything cleaned off, and you know, head and everything off. I think it was just over £100. So in respect to some of the animals that he's got out there, it was a small one, but for us dragging it up that hill, it was, you know, it could have been a lot lighter for us, you know.
Right, let's explain what Mike has created here at Calton Moor Range. It's essentially a one-stop shop for anyone wanting to learn about deer.
Had a bit of a brainstorm and decided I wanted to build myself a rifle range. I do a lot of times when I need a range to do work on guns, or if I've got stalking clients we need to zero. My ground's a bit flat, so there was no way I could get a backstop, so I thought I'll bury it. And yeah, things worked. I'm in 2 4-foot internal diameter concrete pipes, and the bullet catchment is into 12 foot of sand and then into the rock below the ground, so we're 9 foot deep at the other end.
Is there anything else like this in the country?
Nothing. No, this is a one-off. There are 1 or 2 pipe ranges in the country. There's one that has been buried down in the south somewhere, but I don't think that's open to the public. And this one's open to the public. Pay as you go and book in.
Straight back.
What you've got here really is a fantastic setup in doing deer courses. The fact that you've got deer here, so you can actually physically see the animal that you're going to be after.
Of course, yeah, 3 species.
People don't get up close and personal with these.
No, a lot of people who are taking level 1 tests at the moment, everything's done off photographs. So I've had deer here for nearly 20 years now, and it just seemed an obvious progression to carry on and put something back into the sport, really.
But the range isn't only attracting the attention of stalkers.
I've had the military approach me over using it, the police have asked me about it. Main people are using it at the moment is for load development, because you've got a perfect sterile environment, you've got no wind, no rain, bench rest, so if you're working out a load for your rifle, it takes a lot of the efforts out of the equation.
You can actually book the range for just £10 an hour. Now where can you have this much fun for 10 quid? Legally, of course.
I'm very excited about this.
Back to the classroom to catch up with John Rigby from Zeiss. He is keen for his customers to be able to appreciate just how good his company's kit performs in the field, and that if you look after it, it can last a lifetime.
I see it all the time. It's an absolute pleasure. I get to see people coming up to me and they'll pull out a rifle or pull out a pair of binoculars, and it's the first Zeiss scope or binoculars that they got when they were young, and they're still going strong today, and I love it. And we can still, funnily enough, we can still get them fixed, we can still patch them up, you know, get them as good as new almost, and we can still match them up with the scopes so that they're getting the same picture, so they get to use their favourite old bits of kit along with the new innovations we're coming out with every year. So yeah, it's great when we see old bits of kit that haven't moved off a rifle for 30 years. I love it.
With the range clear, we're intrigued by the light at the other end of the tunnel, so Mike gives us a guided tour.
When you open this door, it lights this light up, but kills all the lights on the target. So if there is anybody in the other end, they're looking down the range and are looking into complete darkness, so they obviously know something's gone wrong. Are on, just a slide like that, wind it up, replace, put new targets on and then just fold it back down. Behind that there is another 12 foot underneath, which is full of sand, banked up at whatever angle gravity will hold it at, which acts as catching all the bullets. And behind that you're into a concrete and breeze block chamber.
It's been an exhilarating day from start to finish, made even more special by having such a professional sportsman and a rugby player along with us too.